Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. Again, I am Kaylee Batesman, the Content Director at SheCanCode, and today we are discussing navigating tech careers at Dunelm. I've got two incredible women with me today. One has 10 years of experience at Dunelm and the other has just over 10 months. So we're exploring the journeys of Harj and Jo, the lessons they've learned along the way, and about all of the innovative tech landscape that is happening at Dunelm. Welcome ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. It's a pleasure. We are going to kick off with some backgrounds, if that is okay, to set the scene for our ladies today. Harj, can we start with you? A little bit about you and how you got into tech, please.
Hi, yes, of course. Hi, I'm Harj Kaur. I'm a tech environments manager at Dunelm, and I joined just over 10 years ago. So my journey into tech, like any other youngster choosing what they want to do when they grew up, I had no idea. So I was quite stuck when it came to choosing what to study at uni. I ended up going for a degree in business information systems as I loved a bit of business and also a bit of IT too. I really enjoy the business side of things a lot. So for my placement year, I chose to work for business and help with the accounting side of things. Well, once I finished uni, I was waiting for results. I worked in the accounts department for Anderson Consulting and SDP. I didn't really think I was techy enough to work in IT, even though my degree was very heavily IT based. As I was working through that company, an opportunity rose for me to do a 6-month secondment in the tech service desk area. But my results came in and I totally smashed my degree. So I thought, okay, I can actually do tech. So I applied for a tech role in Selfridges supporting HR and payroll projects. So I was working in like a sport analyst basis for a long while. And then a new time and attendance system was required. And as I worked in the HR and payroll space, I ran this project. From here, I found out that I really like project management. So then I applied for junior PM role in Dunelm, where I quickly lost the junior in my title. I did this for 7 years and then applied for the tech environments manager role, which is what I'm in now, to further expand my skills, as this also involved a large element of project management. And I've been in this role for 3 years. So that's a little bit about me.
Amazing. So you are, and we say this on here all the time, you're a perfect example as to why we started this podcast, because you fell into tech and your words there were, I didn't think I was tech enough for tech, which is something that we hear all the time and that we just love to hear when ladies have fallen in to the industry, thought that they had to be super techy, also thought that throughout their career it was going to be super techy and that we're going to sit in a basement and code and do nothing else, and that's the stereotypical working in tech. And that's why we wanted to share stories like yours on this podcast. So you're another perfect example of somebody that came in a bit of a squiggly route in, as they say, but it's now successful at Dunelm. So yeah, that's it. It's going to be an interesting conversation today with your experience. Jo, you've been at Dunelm just over 10 months. Can you tell us who you are and how you fell into tech?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Jo Kalnavarna. I'm a software development engineer in test at Dunelm. So I started my tech journey when I was 17 years old when I came to this country. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I read an article that said tech is growing, and that was in 2008, back in my country, Latvia. I was comfortable with computers, and what I mean by that, I could turn them on and off, open a Word document, so I thought, why not give it a try? That's where my journey began. I studied at Leeds City College, then went to University of Leeds, where I got my bachelor degree in information technology with a year in industry experience. My first real IT job was at BMW Oxford Mini Plant, where I wrote my first C# code. After finishing university, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to stay in tech. I knew data and big data was coming at that point, but I didn't have enough resources to understand it at the time, so I didn't pursue that opportunity. Instead, I decided to start my career as a tester. I started working at 1010 consultancy company, where I was sent to clients and had to move down south. I had worked in pension and health sectors. Then I moved on to a larger retail organization, John Lewis and Partners. I spent 3.5 years there before trying my hands at the startups in the educational space. As I said, currently I'm a software development engineer in test, short for SDET at Dunelm. I work in a backend team that deals with voucher capabilities and using heavily Amazon Web Service, aka AWS. My responsibilities include, but not limited to, design and implement different types of quality approaches and tests, improving the reliability, testability, and performance of our areas we own, coaching and supporting the team and to use best industry standards when it comes to quality engineering practices, running workshops, share knowledge. And as of recent, very proud moment is introducing contract testing between two of our services. As you can see, one day I could be writing code all day, other day I could be supporting engineers and testing their functionality, or be part of an architecture design session for a new feature. And tomorrow I could be helping debug a bug. Due to how my role has changed in recent years, I had to adopt. I would say I had to become a T-shaped engineer, where the vertical line represents the depth of my knowledge and expertise in a specific technical field. In my case, this would be quality engineering, while the horizontal stroke kind of represents a broad range of skills and knowledge across various fields. This is something I love about my job and being in tech.
Amazing. I love the fact that you said that you, from 17, it's almost like you fell in, you were thinking about it, but at least you studied in that area, which is also really nice to hear that there are ladies out there that do see tech as a brilliant career and think that's the career path that I'm going to take. Jo, you said that you didn't know much about computers. There must have been something about it though. Were you like one of those children that took things apart when you were at home, or like and then couldn't put them back together, or is it literally just, you know what, I'm going to give tech a try?
I just give tech a try. I wasn't actually one of those children. I wasn't myself good at maths back then. I don't still think I am very good at it. I am becoming a bit better, but I don't think maths was the reason of why I would have gone into tech. I just knew in the news there was something up on the rise. I like computers. I liked playing games on it, and that was about it. And that's how I kind of fell in it.
Yeah. Oh, good. That was a good gamble to take.
Indeed.
And a good career path. So you have very different backgrounds, but also one of you is very experienced and one of you is very new in Dunelm. So you're going to have both really good stories to share with us today about what your careers have been like so far at Dunelm. Harj, we're going to start with you a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about your role, because you've been at Dunelm for about a decade. So how has your role evolved since you joined Dunelm's tech team? You've had a couple of roles within that team. How would you say it's kind of evolved for you?
So for myself, when I first joined Dunelm, I was a project manager where I managed the HR payroll projects. So all that was more like a softer side of things, where like you look at supply selection, steering boards, delegation, coordination with large teams, planning, budgets, risk, test management, and so on. So, and through my journey, what was happening is project manager roles were being replaced by delivery manager roles, where it's slightly different to PMing, right? But I was really comfortable. I wanted to carry on doing project management because that's what I did my Prince 2 qualifications. That's what I want to be. I thought I want to be a PM. I don't want to be anything else. Then as I was umming and ahhing where I want to go in my career path, a job came up for tech environments manager. So I applied for it and obviously got it, right? So I did tick all the criteria apart from knowing about environments. And I thought, you know what? I can easily learn that. I thought, oh my God, a bit different, but it was different. So where I started to where I am now is completely different, right? So as a PM, I didn't really care what platforms I worked on, what system I was working on. As long as my laptop worked, I can get new applications. I didn't care what they sat on. You know, I could run my spreadsheets, all my systems. I could run PowerPoint, etc. And it was all fine. That's all I cared about. Where I am now, I now look after non-production environments and make sure they fit for purpose and running as smooth as possible. So my role involves mapping out integrations between the systems and basically have an understanding of how all the systems link and talk together, talk to each other, sorry. This role does overlap a lot of the PM skills, as involves a lot of planning, coordination, delegation, which really helps. But it's completely different how I was back then to where I am now. Never thought I could do it because it's very tech-based. I'm learning things I never thought I'd get my head around. Systems, I didn't really care what they were, but I had to literally have a blob of a system in the middle of a diagram and started connecting things. I started really basic. I thought, if I start understanding from the base down, I'll start learning. So I started small and slowly learned by talking to a lot of people to get to where I am, right? Because to learn this role, you have to talk to a lot of people. You know, you get to know the business, to get to know people never knew before. So yeah, it's very different, but it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. It is tech heavy, but compared to where I was to where I am now, it's all good. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
You know, and I love that, because I've had a few ladies on here that said, I didn't know that a project manager was a role that was available in tech, and also that when you worked in that role, it kind of that's given you a nice basis of a lot of ladies on here say, I thought I'd have to be highly technical to do that role, and actually they needed more soft skills than tech skills.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because they had to communicate what they were doing, and that kind of gives you a nice basis to then, now you say your job is more tech heavy, but there's that project manager role that a lot of our ladies in our community just didn't know existed. Actually they weren't also aware that they were probably already doing that, a similar role at a company that they'd worked at before. Did that kind of, when you moved into that role, was it a bit of a surprise for you? Did you, I mean, you said before that you thought that working in tech was going to be very techy, but actually a PM is quite different.
It's very different. So the skills as a PM, you can work in literally any industry. I could be working in like in a bakery, or you're delegating, you're managing, coordinating. So work using those softer skills in an IT based role, tech based, is no different. You probably, a lot of girls, men, whatever, will probably do a lot of project management in their own personal lives, arranging a meeting, arranging to go out for dinner with their girlfriend, the boyfriend, the parents. You're always planning, right? So you may not have a spreadsheet, or like a lovely like Gantt chart of what's happening, etc. But the planning criteria is always there. You've got a date, you've got people, you're gathering family members, friends, adding a diary event is no different to PMing. So it's being in tech, it just may sound scary, but it really isn't, because you live and breathe it every day anyway. So it's just literally applying it to the role. So if you've got those softer side skills, you can literally apply anywhere, and it's really easy.
Yes.
Don't let the word tech scare you, because it's just a word.
Yeah, it sounds as well that because you got in a company that it sounds like they've really developed you as a professional as well, because you started in these different roles and then thought, you know what, I'm probably not techie, and then actually you've slowly progressed into picking up more of that technical knowledge, and now it sounds like you've really flourished. But I think that's sometimes getting into the right company, rather than a company just kind of letting you sit there and think, until you get bored and then you leave. You're quite a loyal employee.
Yeah, no, Dunelm are very supportive. We have, Thrive, which is like a learning platform. We have like every month in the afternoons, we have like a payday learning afternoon where we can sit and learn things. It could be personal stuff you're working, it could be a little learning program you go on to, or just self-learning, or learning things that your colleagues are doing, like a bit of mentoring. So we are Dunelm are quite helpful in progressing our careers as well. So it's a great place to work on that front. We're not shy or scared. Oh, I want to learn this. They may say no. That really encourage us to go on training programs, to learn, expand our skills. It's really a great place to work.
Yeah, and to keep somebody at a company for a long time as well. People love to job hop, and I think really good companies know how to retain good talent, and to let you try new things, and to really flourish in your role, instead of just feeling like it's time for me to leave. So some really good companies know how to do that.
10 years, I've been here for quite a while. I'm the furniture now.
Exactly, but a nice piece of furniture, since it's Dunelm. Jo, you are an experienced professional, but you are new to Dunelm. So can you tell us a little bit, what has been your initial impression of working in tech at Dunelm compared to your previous experiences?
Yeah, so when I first joined Dunelm, I became, and I still am, a part of the backend team. And for me, this was a big, big change, because I was used to work in a front-end teams and seeing how all the different parts of interaction, the UI, are moving around, and basically front-end team. Being in a backend team has given me the opportunity to learn about development process from the API perspective, even though I didn't have a specific background in a backend team. But Dunelm made an offer. They must have seen something on my CV that they liked, and they made an offer, and obviously through the interview process as well, I must have shined quite well. However, I did, during this interview process, also showed my skills of understanding how the endpoint work. End of the day, they still were looking for some of the skills. So I showed my transferable skills, and I also had some experience working with GraphQL and Postman. Not necessarily at the level you would think you would need it when you join a backend team, but because of my transferable skills, I think it helped me to secure this job and also helped me to transition into this role. And Dunelm has, in the last 10 months, I would say, given me a chance to prove myself. And there's always a plenty of support available when needed. The people here are very supportive and willing to help me and others. And one of the great things about working in tech at Dunelm is that they use very modern stack and the latest technologies. The team I joined used heavily AWS, which was new to me. I had previous experience with Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure, but not AWS. And again, I think having some transferable skills, you don't necessarily need to know every single application that is out there, but if you have something to show that you worked previously somewhere like with Google Cloud, even could it be for a couple of months or even a year, you can then use these transferable skills with other tools. And I think this has been absolutely a great opportunity for me to learn something new and exciting at Dunelm, and especially, like, again, emphasizing the backend team, because this is completely new to me. I've only been officially part of backend team for the 10 months. Previously, all my experience have been front-end team, heavily front-end team, because I think that's where my strength has always lied. And I chose to take kind of like leap and decided to join a backend team and wanted to see what is it like on the other side, how they say.
Yeah, and what's interesting about your journey there is a lot of ladies in our community say they don't always apply for jobs because they don't tick all of the boxes, and sometimes that sometimes you just need to take that leap of faith and think there are some good companies out there who will see something in you and see those transferable skills and think, you know what, we're just going to grab hold of her and train her up into things that we need to train her up in. And that's exactly, it sounds like what Dunelm did with you, that you had lots of skills that they thought would just train you up in the areas that we think that you don't have at the moment. But is that a feeling? I mean, you took that leap of faith, but is that something that perhaps you felt in the past where you've read job descriptions and you thought, you know what, I don't tick all the boxes here, maybe I won't go for it? Or perhaps you've gone for that interview and that company has turned you away and said, no, you don't hit all of our bullet points. Is that something that you felt in the past?
I personally, so this is something I learned from my mentor along the way in my journey, is that apply for a job even if you do not fit every single bullet point on that CV. And I did this very early on in my career. I remember it was start of my journey. I think it was back in 2010 when one of my mentors were reviewing my CV, and he said to me, and I remember this very well, he said to me, you do not need to tick every box, but adjust your CV, think about what transferable skills you have and just go for it. And ever since that, I have not looked back. And I am here because of that, because of this approach that helped me to use that and not tick every box and just go for it and be confident when I go into that interview, because I know I am great and I have some great skills to show. And I can do that if I get past that CV, that blank page of CV.
Yes, and because you'll never move forward and progress if you don't keep going for something where there is a slight gap where you can learn those skills, as you are, and you went from the front end to a back end team, and took that leap of faith, and so far so good. I wanted to talk to you ladies on that note about challenges. So could you share some specific challenges you've encountered in your roles, and how you've overcome them? Harj, should we start with you?
Yeah, of course. So I've alluded a little bit about it regarding like where I was in my PM role, which is relatively easy in comparison to the role I'm doing now, as the majority of the skills I have, I already lived and breathed, such as the organisation, the planning, the coordinating. I did find it extremely challenging moving to the new role, as I had to learn about entire technology landscape, which I had a little bit of an idea about, but didn't really worry about it much. And then I had to learn how all the systems integrate. This was difficult because there wasn't just one source of knowledge, and had to reach out to different people in various tech functions and then work out how to easily map all this out so it's easy to read and understand. Because of my PM skills, it really helped me because I had the people skills. I could talk, I'm quite a friendly person. I was quite approachable. So I was like knocking on people's doors, saying that I need some help, come and help me. That really helped. So you can't be shy. You've got to literally go out there, because I didn't know the information. It's only me and my team, right? And it's Dunelm, it's huge. Trying to learn all that. I'm still learning. Every day is a learning day. It's always work in progress. I'm not saying, oh yeah, today I know everything. Of course not. everyday things change, systems leave, systems come on, integrations change, interfaces change, new things get added on, new systems get added on. It's a changing landscape. So I've got to keep on top of that to do the role I'm doing. So that is really different to what I was doing before. So I didn't care at all what we sat on. Literally, my laptop turned on, turned off, did all my stuff, talked to people, delegated, ran the projects, delivered it, moved to the next one. Now I'm like, wow, this is such a different thing. I'm still in tech, but I don't code, etc. But I don't need to with the role I'm doing. I just need to talk. I need to plan. I need to understand and just basically work out how things kind of like fit together. I also help like in the test management side of things, where we have like large projects. I work in the QA chapter space with quality assurance team, right? So when we've got huge projects and there's large amounts of testing involved, I'll help to run that, delegate, put test plans together, talk to the colleagues, the little teams, right? So I'm still doing like a round the house PM role anyway in the role, because there's that transferable skills. I'm just learning as I go along. That has really helped me evolve in the career I'm in now. If I didn't have that, I would have struggled. I think if I couldn't talk to people, couldn't delegate, couldn't coordinate, I'd be stuck. I might think, what do I do now? But that's really helped me get more confident, because that's made me confident, because I can actually reach out to people. And when they see me come and think, oh, but here she comes again. What do you want now? But it's nice to have that vibe. Everyone's so friendly. They're so approachable in Dunelm. No one's ever said, oh, can't help you. I haven't got time. They're willing to help. And that has really helped me. If I was in an organization where they didn't care, they weren't helpful, I wouldn't be where I am now. So yeah, kudos to all the teams out there that really are helpful.
Yeah, to be in that culture where you feel like you can keep knocking on people's doors and keep asking, and not feeling like you're almost a nuisance going to find out things from people. That is not a nice culture to be part of. Whereas
no, I thought I was thinking, oh God, I can't do it again. I can't ask again. I'm thinking, how many times they're going to get sick of me? But you got to keep doing it. You got to carry on. Before you know it, they know who I am. They know always Harj again, right? They know what I do. I need help. So when I need help, I think, guys, girls, I need some help, please. I'm stuck here. I've got the system here. I've got a system here. How do they connect? What's connecting between them two? That's what I live and breathe now. I never thought I'd ever do this. I never thought,
That's a misconception as well, isn't it, about working in tech, that you work quite siloed, whereas you don't. You work with everybody. Did you think that you would be on your own? Was that something that it just doesn't sound appealing? It doesn't sound creative, or to anyone?
Yes, when the role first came up, I was like, oh God, that sounds very technical. Like Joe was alluded to earlier, ticking every box. No way. I was like, I can talk, I can coordinate, can delegate. Environments, what the hell's an environment? Is it, it's like I knew what it was, but thinking, what do I need to know about that? Oh my God, it's a whole different ball game. But I went in there, literally in the deep end. I thought, you know what? If I don't go for it, I'll never learn. So that's just the way how I kind of progressed my career, thinking, right, it's a new journey, new thing I'm learning. I was very scared, of course, very nervous, thinking, I don't know, I've got all these criteria. I can tick, thinking, no, like, what do I do now? Right. But then I went into it, eyes wide open, you're right, okay, I'm letting myself in here, go in the deep end. What can go wrong? I'm working in a company that are supportive. So if I'm stuck, I know I'll get help. And that's what's happened, because I didn't know it all. I still don't know it all. I probably never will know it all, right? But it's this journey. It's because the landscape's so big, there's so many things to learn. One day I might say, maybe like in 20 years time, think, yeah, you know what, I know Dunelm now. Then it'll change again the next day. Right? Yeah, it's one of these roles that you can't get bored in. There's always something.
And just the space to be able to learn and grow, and that you don't have to know everything as well. And at first, it's just having the ability to learn, instead of thinking I have to know everything and everybody's going to ask me everything. It's just the almost like a safety zone to learn.
It's very rewarding, once you do the very heavy diagram base. Once it's done, thinking, oh wow, this is good. I did that, and you have like a proud moment, because I use like a platform called Lucid Charts, and Miro and stuff, right? But the things I'm doing on there, I never thought was possible, because I used to use Visio before, and I thought I need something better, another tool set. So I had to learn different tool sets. It's drawing, but diagrams, like quite like technical diagrams, right? But that's why I started small, a little box. Then I branched out. If I see the big drum, I think, what the hell is that? Right? But doing it small, understanding yourself, that's how I learned, because I've got a box here, I've got a box here, I've got a box here. That's how you connect here. That's how data's going in and out. And I slowly built that up over time. I think I understand that. If I can understand it, I can tell other people about it. And that's how I did it. So really slow, really small, and then you just evolve. And the diamond's going bigger and bigger and bigger. It's quite good.
Jo, what about from your side? It sounds well, it sounds challenging from Harj, but she's overcome those challenges. Do you have any specific challenges on your side that you've encountered, and how have you overcome them?
So yeah, I actually, so as I said before, I knew that I'm joining a backend team. So for me, that was already a challenge on its own. And before I joined Dunelm, I actually emailed the team to ask which topics I should be looking at before I join. And they were great at it. And they actually came back with some of the terminology like AWS Lambda, API gateways, TypeScript, and serverless architecture. And what I did with that was I created a plan and I used a Trello board to keep a track of the topics I wanted to cover before I even joined the team. This is kind of my own personal way of dealing and preparing for a new exciting roles, because during my time at Dunelm, I identified, even before I joined, I had a plan and I followed it. But obviously during this time, there's even more things to learn, more things to do. So what I did is I identified the areas where I had less knowledge of, and I set a plan to get myself where I want to be. It was challenging for me because it was absolutely new to me. Everything was new, even though I had those transferable skills. The first few months, it was like, whoa. And when I joined the backend team straight away in the first few weeks, I felt like I'm an imposter, thinking that my skills wouldn't be enough, But what I did, right, I focused on areas where I identified it to be a weaker spot for me, such as integration tests and TypeScript. And by writing integration tests, it helped me understand how APIs work, meaning I'm more comfortable being in a backend team. And by writing a good test taught me a lot about the systems that APIs interact with, therefore learning a lot about what my team does and therefore making me more comfortable. And the similar journey for TypeScript. I was creating a small JavaScript functions and then I converted them into TypeScript. I used YouTube a lot to learn about more complex topics, such as creating my own dummy server and using JSON file as my database. And often on my learning days at Dunelm, as Harj mentioned, Dunelm is great. They're giving us a chance to learn during our work hours and once a month in the afternoons. What I try to do is I try to work on a small but achievable hands-on projects to be more comfortable with concepts that I'm still using on a daily basis, or to help me actually spot a new opportunity to implement them into the team when a new challenge comes along. And I always say at the end of the day, we all face challenges and fear that we're not good enough or haven't learned enough. But with a tangible plan, like I've done, and I've used it for many years now, we can overcome anything over time. As you can see from me and Harj talking about it, being in tech, you're constantly learning. And if you enjoy that, then this is the career for you.
Amazing. And I love the fact that you mentioned that you had that feeling of, I just feel like an imposter. And that comes up so often on this podcast. How many people have felt that imposter syndrome? They're going to find me out. They're going to know that I don't know everything. And we've all had that feeling. And you followed it up there, though, with just learning that you just knuckled down and thought, I'm going to learn. And I've been told on here by some other incredible ladies before that sometimes they just say, know your stuff, just learn and know and be confident that you have learned it. If you don't know it, learn it. And then, and to not always have that imposter syndrome feeling, because sometimes it can help. Sometimes that can help a little bit. It's nice to have that a little bit so you're continually learning. But sometimes it can hold you back as well if you're always thinking, I'm going to get found out. They're going to know. So yeah. That's amazing. And I love the fact that you said you use Trello boards as well. It's incredibly organized to figure out what you want to learn and to always just to tick off all the things that you have learned, so you know that you ticked all of the boxes. Both of you have very different experiences working in Dunelm. So I wanted to ask you both a little bit about what are some exciting tech trends or innovations that you've seen emerge within Dunelm recently. Harj, so we go to you.
Yeah, of course. So one of the exciting things we actually have is in the warehouse, we have automated pallet movers, which is basically driverless forklifts, which move pallets around the warehouse. There's no human interaction at all required to pick up the stock for dispatch. So what the machines move back to a parking position once they've done the task, and then they recommence their charging. And once they're ready, they go back out again. That is like amazing. I've seen them actually. I'm like, wow, there's no people, there's no humans driving that. How's that possible? But yeah, so I've seen that.
I've had that. So we actually just jumping in there, we have a client that does something similar, and on the surface that sounds like quite a boring role in tech. You think it sounds like, oh, just moving things around. And that actually, when you get into the people that work in those roles, they have the coolest jobs. And all of their jobs are just like, oh, we work in autonomous vehicles and robotics. And and all of a sudden, this whole world opens up. It's like, actually, that's super cool. That's not just, talking about a forklift moving around, that actually the people that work in those jobs have always got really cool jobs and always love what they do. So I was only talking about that earlier today with someone actually, so it's interesting. There was another example there that you threw in of all of the different aspects that you can work in tech.
Yeah, it's just amazing seeing it, thinking there's no one there. It's like when you talk about like driverless cars, you don't need to drive, thinking, would I really own one of those where it's just driving by itself, where you're not just literally sitting? I don't know. I don't think I'm there yet. The warehouse is probably all right, you can get out of the way. You're not going to get knocked over in case it goes wrong. But yeah, on the street, probably not.
So cool to be able to work on such a project as well, to really move the company forward.
Yeah, so myself personally, I didn't work on that project. Just literally, it's happening in the warehouse at the moment. It's there. It's with another team, but it's just literally so exciting seeing that evolve and think, we actually got that in Dunelm. It's amazing. So for myself, with my because of my project stuff, I've just done lots of stuff regarding. We were a heavily paper-based company, right? So as an organisation moving from paper to tech, so I implement paper e-pay slips. That was that system I put in, which was a bit exciting, where everyone just now gets paid on, it's just literally pay slips, all electronic. It's quite old. It's not a recent thing. So I don't really do anything as delivering stuff now because of the role I'm in now. So exciting projects I worked on before are no longer there because I don't run that anymore. So with me, just past stuff I've done, if you still want me to go through that stuff I've done already, or it's not recent, but it's like we also implement a system called DocuSign, where before there was paper sheets being signed off by different people in the organisation from different managerial levels. So I implemented something called DocuSign, where it's all automated. A manager would sign it, it go to someone else, it go to supplier, go to another area. It's like a workflow that was all implemented. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on, even from our platforms, what we use, like our laptops or like Windows 11, MacBooks, and latest Mac OS systems for our colleagues. In the stores, we use iPads with chip and pin units, so customers can place web orders on the iPad and payments taken on a PED. That's attached to the iPad rather. So all these little things are evolving as we speak. It's just there's lots of stuff going on.
yeah, and loads of different aspects to work on just within one company. Loads of different things. I can see why you've been there 10 years.
Yeah, so it's a lot of these projects, not run by myself, is throughout Dunelm, that there's just so much going on. We are quite a large organisation, so I might get a little pin in the haystack with what I do, but all this stuff is happening around me. What I'm thinking, oh, that's quite good, or that's quite good. Sometimes I think the role I'm doing is quite boring because I'm not actually showing. Who wants to know? Oh, the system's got a connection, it's got interface here. Wow, right? But it's something I've learned to love now. Back in the day, I'd never thought I'd be here caring about a system, how A connects to B. Why would I care? But now I do care. It's part of my role. Right? So for me, that's just literally, it's an eye-opener for me that I'm actually enjoying the role I'm in, thinking, oh my God, I'm actually techie now.
Good. That's good to hear. And Joe, yourself, have you, from your side of things, have you seen some exciting tech trends and innovations within Dunelm recently?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, again, it is worth mentioning AWS, Amazon Web Service, which has been part of the company since 2018, give or take. And I swear, I do not secretly work for them, but just love using their service, which is why I've been mentioning AWS throughout this whole podcast. And I'm still going to give some more examples later on. And the way AWS has helped us improve our website and in-store operations is by making them more flexible and resilient. And it has also supported innovation to create a better customer experience. And worth mentioning that we are one of the biggest users of AWS serverless capabilities in Europe. And this is important because it allows our engineering teams to focus on their work without having to worry about infrastructure or load issues. it has completely changed what we can deliver to the business and our customers. Recently, there has been a move toward using micro frontends, short for MFEs, and move away from monolith. And let me explain a bit more on this to the listeners who may have not heard the word monolith. A monolith is when you make a change to the front end, such as adding a new feature, and you have to test and deploy the entire application at once. This carries a high risk and can affect any part of the website. It also makes it difficult to scale up when multiple teams are working on a website simultaneously. And as you know, Dunelm has quite evolved in the recent years, and our engineering capabilities and teams has grown. And this leads to uncertainty and more time spent dealing with unexpected problems. And then Dunelm realized that micro frontend architecture was the best option for us. Another great innovative tool that Dunelm uses is Launch Darkly. And for those who have never heard of it, it's a feature flag system that basically allows Dunelm to release different experiments to targeted user groups and allow engineers to turn code on and off in prod environment, test their code in prod, and have a more progressive delivery. Meaning you can release how you want your code, be it at 10% only desktop users or go 50% with a new node upgrade and see how that performs. And also, I think worth mentioning is that we also organize internal tech hackathons that encourages innovation and empower engineers to solve real-life problems using any available resources on that day. Everyone is welcome to participate in these hackathons, regardless of their coding abilities. It could be a PO, BA, it could be anyone. Even if you want to go to the store and speak with the store people and see how you could help them. And the topics can vary on the hackathons, and including how to enhance the store experience and even leverage the latest technologies. And that is a very great way, and again, showcasing that Dunelm gives you that chance to try out new things and not necessarily what you do on a daily basis.
That's cool. It's cool that you hold hackathons. We hold hackathons and we find the same thing, that we love a mixture of experiences, because suddenly it's like people realize, actually, I can do this. I didn't know I could do that. And just, again, being in a safe space where you can try something. A lot of our ladies that come along, never been to a hackathon, think, actually, I thought that was going to be really scary, but it wasn't. And you're right, you just get to help. You know, whether you work on a project that helps somebody in store, for instance, and then you get to see the difference that makes. I loved as well that you said about just being able to focus on what you need to focus on. It sounds like between both of you that Dunelm really tries to make changes where it needs to ensure that you can just focus on your job instead of worrying about other things. From both of you, I would love to know what would be your advice for other people that are thinking about a career in tech, particularly if they're thinking about joining Dunelm. Do you have some advice for people if they're considering that? Harj, yourself.
Yeah, so for myself, like looking at my own career journey, to have a career in tech doesn't mean you need to write code and build software. I don't. And I've been here for a long while. There are many different avenues you can explore, especially at Dunelm. Like in my role, for example, I manage our test environments and get to work along so many different people, different roles, different skill sets. You know, it allows you to talk, socialize, meet people. It gives me a great opportunity to constantly learn and develop my own breadth of technical knowledge and skills along the way, opening up future opportunities. So it's just a constant learning journey. You know, it's nice talking to people, especially post-pandemic, where, you know, everyone's working from home most of the time, right? But these all Teams calls, video calls, etc., just keeping that bond together. I still don't find it difficult to reach out for help. I still get the help. Before, you'd walk to a desk and say, you just hover over them, can you help me? And you don't move until they help you, but you just ping someone a message like on Slack, say, you know, that's what we use in tech. It's like just a version of WhatsApp, just for our tech people. It's like, I need some help here. If you've got 2 minutes, right? And like 9 times out of 10, they'll respond straight away, or it might be a while, but you will get the help and support. So Dunelm is a really a helpful company that I don't think I've met anybody within Dunelm that say, no, I'm not going to help you, haven't got time. They will make time. We all make time for each other. We all busy people, but we all realize we're all learning every day as well. And so, someone's stuck, they're not saying they're stuck for the fun of it. They actually need help. So it's quite great, especially the chapter I'm in, which is the QA chapter, which Joe's part of as well. We've got like a lovely family community where we've got a massive Slack channel where anyone can ask anything. We have a bit of banter, a bit of joke, obviously the work as well, but it's nice having that lovely, healthy, friendly environment where no one is scared to ask a question because you know you're not going to get head bitten off. That really, really helps, because when I first joined, especially, you know, I was a newbie into this role. I was like, there's so many questions I had thinking, oh, they're from stupid question, but no question is stupid. 'Cause everyone's got to learn somewhere. Thinking, am I really going to ask that? They're going to say, oh, don't you know that? But you don't feel intimidated. You don't feel like, as if, you don't feel, I'll use the word, you don't feel thick, just because you don't know the answer. People are out there to help you. They'll point to the right direction, which is great. If they say, look, like, I don't know the answer, but so-and-so will help you. So I'll go, that's where I do my merry-go-round chasing. People think, oh, if they don't know, no, they will help you. So sometimes I don't get answers straight away. I've got to literally graft and work out which person it is I need, but I'll eventually get there, right? But it just carry on, just doing what I'm doing. And yeah, it's all good.
Especially working from home, you don't want to be sitting there drowning thinking, I don't want to reach out and put a question in that Slack channel because I know how people are going to respond, or people might just ignore me, or you really don't want that feeling. And it can be quite lonely. If it's quite a lonely experience if you work on a team that feels like that. It can affect everything in your life if you're not happy in your job.
Yeah, no, definitely, because like for me being for so long, pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, post-pandemic, I've seen a lot. But one thing that hasn't changed is how helpful people are. If anything, even more helpful, because we can't even talk, we don't even see each other on a day-to-day basis, but they're still there. You see new faces all the time thinking, when I do go to the office, I see a face thinking, I'm sure that's the person that helped me on Teams the other day. Right, because you don't know who they are because we don't see them, but it's nice to put like names to faces, etc. So it's quite nice. It is a helpful bunch. Can't stress it enough. Yeah, it is a very good company to work for.
Yeah. And Joe, yourself, would you echo what Harj said there? And if you could share some advice on, if somebody's considering a career in tech, particularly at Dunelm, what would be your advice?
Yeah, so I think recently and the last few years, I would say for people to wanting to get a career in tech, wanting to have a feel for it, I would recommend looking into events specifically for women in tech, such as Women in Business and Tech or Expo or AWS Summit with more hands-on workshops. And I think at these events, industry experts will give talks or have stalls where they would be available to you and talk to the attendees, give insight into their experience and the industry, and provide support and advice, even if you feel stuck sometimes. And I remember, you don't have to meet every requirement listed in a job description, as we discussed before, but you should showcase your skills. So write down any skill that you have and be proud of them. Highlight any relevant experience, such as a 3-week internship or participation in programs like SheCanCode. Make sure to provide examples how you have demonstrated these skills, no matter how small they may seem at the time. And if possible, ask someone with technical knowledge, if that's what you go after, to review your CV. And as you might have heard me saying AWS a few hundred times in this podcast, I would want to mention them again and their resources available. That might come in handy when considering career at Dunelm. You can create a free account on AWS and have access to their resources for 12 months. Just please remember to remove your credit card information or close your resources after 12 months period to avoid any charges. This experience alone can be a valuable learning opportunity, but maybe not just from your personal wallet, please. So just to bear in mind. And also AWS and any other type of tool that you're going to be using is probably going to be some sort of large enterprise, and you can feel very easily overwhelmed and how to navigate. So with AWS and probably other tools as well, in AWS, they recommend starting with their Cloud Essentials Knowledge Badge Readiness Path. I have done that myself. It was very useful before I joined Dunelm. It includes a scenario about a coffee shop and how AWS helped them to succeed. And once you understand the basics, you can start getting a hands-on experience as well. They also offer a ramp-up guide for more advanced topics. And also, I think it's great if you have a knowledge of one or more of the following, like JavaScript, TypeScript, GraphQL, React, Next.js, and Node.js. Of course, again, it depends on the job description of the role you're interested in, and don't be afraid to still apply and showcase the skills, even if you do not have every single thing I just said on a CV. It's just an example of what I've done recently myself at these events, because it really has motivated me. I think pre-pandemic and during pandemic, we kind of lost, not necessarily when I wasn't at Dunelm that time, but we lost that human touch. I lost that motivation about women in tech and everything. And after the pandemic finished, I started attending more events, and that really, really got me excited and be happy to be in tech again. Because when I went to these events, I feel like I'm part of a great community and I just want to stay here and don't leave.
Yes, I love that. Yes, finding a network that you can really connect with and share your stories. And yes, it can definitely re-energize you if you need to, but also just to reach out to other people with similar experience and hear their stories is so valuable. Ladies, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to ask you one last question. Do you have any final thoughts or reflections that you'd like to share with our listeners? Is there anything that you wish you'd been told before you came into tech? Is there anything you'd like to share with our ladies? Harj, should we go to you?
Yeah, of course. So mine's quite simple. Just don't be afraid to join tech. It's just a word. Like you've heard what I've been doing my journey. I don't code, and I've been in tech for over 25 years. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Every day is a learning day. It's fun. Yes, tech is fun. You know, it, like Joe was saying, like it depends what you're doing. Because like I am not a coder, but I did do a SheCanCode course. You know, I did a bit of coding at university. Right. So not that I don't like it. It's just that I've just haven't chosen my career path to be in that journey. I found other things that I actually enjoyed more, right? But tech, like it can be from anything, from like a business analyst, just looking at, you know, that's interesting role, a tester, PM, you know, there's lots of things that you can do that still in tech, but isn't code heavy. So it depends on what you want. If you see a job advert there in any tech industry role, have a look at it, see what it's about, and I could probably guarantee you that if it didn't have tech in the title, you go for it. Don't let the word tech scare you. Just it's just a word. You know, if I knew, oh, tech's like this, I think, oh, I'm not doing that. Because like when I was saying at the very beginning, when I was trying to choose my career path, what I want to do when I grew up, I had no idea. So I did this degree, bit of business, bit of IT, still didn't know what I wanted to do, did a bit of accounting, got my results, think, oh, actually, that made me think, oh, actually, I've smashed my degree. Let me go into this tech world. Let's see what it's all about. And it was scary at the time, but literally when I set foot into it, I thought, oh, this is it. It's just a department called tech. I could be sitting somewhere else, you know, like in a bakery, and I could still doing the same role kind of thing. So it's all good. Just don't let it scare you. It really isn't scary. Just please don't. It's yeah. Like I said earlier, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
You are right as well. If sometimes if a job says tech in the title, that really does brighten people, and we just love for more people to know it's like like the world, the best hidden secret of coming into tech and then really enjoying it. Why you know, we say on here that the tech industry has a PR issue, that more people should just know that it is a really good industry to work in, and there are some really good companies out there if you're lucky enough to fall into one. Joe, yourself, final thoughts and reflections for our listeners, if you please.
Yeah, so for me, I would say build your confidence and trust yourself. When you begin learning the code, whether it's through a course, workshop, or YouTube video, remember that you do not have to be expert right away. Enjoy the process of learning and improving. And remember that success is not a straight line. It's a journey with ups and downs. Some days are good while others are tough. There will be good days and there will be bad days, and you just have to sometimes accept that. Sometimes you have to accept that. Sometimes you might question, why am I even doing this, thinking you're not good enough? But when you reflect on your progress, you realize how far you've come. You are better than you were yesterday or a week ago. Keep going, and you will reach the top and feel accomplished. Just like climbing Everest. Well, at least that's how I think it would feel like if I ever climbed an Everest. That's for you. That's my final thoughts on being in tech.
Amazing, thank you. Yes, I think you are right. Between both of you, you both, you know, really hit the nail on the head today. And it's just being confident and thinking, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go. And it's hoping that people, you know, see tech as a really great career, and falling into a really good company can really just set you on such a successful path, which we can see from both of you, from 10 years through to just over 10 months. We can see that you're both really flourishing at Dunelm. So ladies, thank you. I could keep talking to you all afternoon on this topic, because you are both a world of knowledge on what it is like to work in the tech industry, but we are already out of time. So thank you so much, ladies. Thank you to Joe and Harj for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And to all of our ladies listening, as always, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again next time.